Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
LTL Midstream.
Welcome back, longtime listeners. How's it going, Shades?
It's going well, Sketch. How about you?
Yeah, it's going great. Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for joining us for another Midstream in between locales.
Yeah, just gonna take a break from polishing up the vehicles in the garage.
I had to take a long shower after last week's episode.
It's just too grungy for you.
Disgusting.
You know, I'm just gonna stand by. I love Dino Hatton.
I love the idea of Dino Hatton. I don't like the end result. It's getting clean and dirty at the same time. I love it. Yeah, clean and dirty. You're a real Koopa.
Yep, that's me.
That movie, Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
Sketch. I'm gonna say I don't make as good a Mario as you do a Luigi. And,
I make a much better Luigi.
I'm a little resentful of that gut you gave me in the episode art.
Did I give you a gut?
Yeah, a little bit.
I didn't intend to. I'm gonna fold it up right now. I want to see it.
I'm overflowing the overalls in places. Ely's noticed.
Oh, well, that was not my intention.
It was all the spaghetti I pounded during that episode.
I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm looking at it now. I don't think I trimmed you way down from Bob Hoskins.
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah, because those are the two poses from the original movie poster.
Yes, I do. I noticed.
Yeah.
That was very fitting. I love it.
No.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, and I do not think you have a gut at all.
I'm gonna grow that stash.
No, I don't think you ever should.
I think it's the perfect look for me.
I did have to give you the stash though because it wasn't pronounced enough in the movie.
One of the things that didn't come up in the episode when I was listening back to it that there just wasn't. We did have the audio from our watch, but it just wasn't riveting enough.
Fun.
I thought it wasn't fun. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But one of the things that we kept riffing on was Bob Hoskins' mustache kept changing throughout the shoot. I don't know if it was fake or if he was just trimming it and they shot it out of sequence. But his mustache, the thing we kept harping on was his mustache kept changing shape.
Long-term listeners know that you have a thing for mustaches.
I do. Yeah, it's my middle name.
It has come up multiple times in this
stash
podcast. Between Henry Cavill's digitally removed
and Bob Hoskins'
inconsistent.
His inconsistent soup strainer.
Yeah. So do you have any corrections you want to make for our Mario episode?
I don't. I stand by my take on that. There is something horrendous about that movie that I can't put my finger on that just has a soft spot in my heart that leaves a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
Yet I recognize how god awful bad it is. Sketch, is there anything that you want to retract or?
No. I stand by my disgust of the general aesthetics of the movie. I mean, and I also stand by my big rave of the fact that I loved that they were plumbers. That they were legitimately plumbing in that movie.
I second that.
And that's not enough to redeem it for me, but that was a real positive.
I'll agree. And I will just add that since our rewatch and working on that episode and getting it ready for our LTLs, I have been playing through my NES collection.
Nice. And
I started with Codename Viper, which I've talked about on the show a couple times, which is kind of like the first story-driven game that I ever played. And I need to post this to the site, but I'll just read the secret message that you uncover at the end of the game, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Spoilers
for Codename Viper, 30 years in the making here. Our purpose is to control the whole world by drugs. Supply as much drugs to Commander Jones' special missions as possible, and he will handle it. Never contact him, even though he can be found at his home in Beverly Hills. We must execute our top secret plan now. Pay attention to this matter. Skull and Crossbones.
Perfect.
It's always the drugs.
It's always the drugs. It all comes down to drugs.
That is such a 90s video game thing. Do you remember in front of every arcade game, there was always the anti-drug campaign?
Yeah. Well, that was the big war on drug era.
It was, yeah. And I've been playing through, also I beat original Super Mario Brothers. That was very anticlimactic, and but also a good feeling.
Well, one of the things we said in the episode, which on my listen through again, I was like, yeah, that's right, me, is that, you know, we've talked before about Hollywood's bias on video games and how they're for children, and video games currently are for such a broad audience.
Yes.
But video games also have never been easier. When they were like, quote, for children, they were really, really hard.
I want to legitimately say it took me 30 years to beat Codename Viper and Super Mario Brothers, and I'm very close to being finished with Super Mario Brothers 2. Time
well spent.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Mm-hmm. I feel so accomplished.
Well, as long as we're talking about accomplishments, I recommended in the Mario Brothers episode Subnautica.
Yes.
And I have since finished Subnautica.
Oh,
wow. And my recommendation holds up. It has a really fulfilling end.
Did you have a lot of fun with the Sequest DSV?
I did. Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, the Cyclops was flippin' sweet.
Very nice.
A little hard to control, but once you get the hang of it, it's really useful. And the story kind of wraps up really nicely and kind of epically, and they're in production of a sequel right now.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, it's in open beta, but I'm gonna wait for it to.
Maybe it will make its way to PlayStation so I can play it.
Yeah, maybe it will. Last one was
Xbox,
computer, and Xbox only. Yeah. Yes, so we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe. Yeah. And also, speaking of games, in the episode, we thought maybe there might be another Luigi's Mansion.
And lo and behold.
Now, not only is there a sequel, but now at E3, Nintendo announced the third Luigi's Mansion will be coming out.
Yes.
By the end of this year.
Yep.
With
I will not be able to play it.
Gooigi.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It's a motif that's obviously been done before. I mean, the one I'm thinking of the most is the Zelda game where you turn into a drawing and it lets you like sneak into things. But hey, it's cool. I love that Luigi's character has developed, and he legit like has more character traits now than Mario does.
And I will second that and just say I am really hankering for a Luigi and Ghostbusters crossover.
Yeah.
Because recently it was announced there is, I think the first issue actually dropped, there is a Ghostbusters Transformers crossover in which the Ecto-1 becomes a Transformer.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a GameStop exclusive figure that I simply cannot afford.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Tell them about your recent accomplishments with 30-year-old video games, and maybe
I know, right? Maybe they'll
give it to you.
Maybe they'll send it our way. Hey, Nintendo, if you want to become a sponsor or reward my my patronage of your vintage games and systems, I will happily.
You'll get that right after I get my Sequest.
I know, right? LTLs, you're really sketch. I mean, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just patient.
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, I'm patient. It's coming.
I don't think they're coming.
It's coming. You give up hope so easily.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
But I guess that's it on Mario. I mean, I think we nailed it.
I agree. And it was fun to revisit. And I don't think I need to revisit that movie again.
Oh, no? You're done?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm also done +1.
I think I'm good.
Done +1.
We'll maybe Nintendo will wade into the waters of live action movies at some point in the future.
Well, they did just have Detective Pikachu come out.
Yes,
that's a live action Nintendo property.
That is fair.
Yeah,
I meant Mario.
Yes, we'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll see.
I will say, the re-listening to that episode, it was like eating way too much spaghetti and meatballs, like the indigestion that you have from eating too much spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, that was the whole movie.
It was the whole movie, the whole experience.
If
you're like that heavy, sluggish feeling,
if your
somewhere
movie,
between satisfied and vomit.
If your movie begins in the sewers of 1990s New York and then only gets grosser from there, you got a problem.
That is fair.
And that's the last thing I'll say about that movie.
Great. I think that's a great segue to one of the things I wanted to talk about for this week.
Sure.
Is X-Men: The Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Is the least successful, the lowest ranked of all the X-Men movies.
Whoa.
And fans are not liking it. And I posted this to the Facebook page. Simon Kinberg, the director of that movie, is taking full responsibility.
Nice.
It's grossed a unimpressive $33 million domestically. I think that sounds good, but I think the movie probably cost something like $100 million. Yeah. Oh, it did. It cost $100 million to make.
Oh, okay. So
and Simon Kinberg says it clearly is a movie that didn't connect with audiences that didn't see it. It didn't connect enough with the audiences that did see it, and so that's on me. End quote.
How refreshing.
And yes, I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing in an era when the first thing that filmmakers do when their movies don't resonate the way that they hoped or they don't gross enough money, the first thing they do is blame toxic fandom or trolls. Yeah. And I'm not dismissing the behavior of trolls. I 100% am disgusted by that behavior when people just trash movies for no reason because they feel somehow cheated or aggrieved. But full disclosure, when your movie doesn't resonate with your fan base, don't blame the fans. And I think this is amazing that in the age of the trolls destroyed this, the haters destroyed that, sad fanboys in their basements don't respect this or, sabotaged our movie. This was so refreshing. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix yet, but the fact that the director got out in front of this and said, hey, I made a bad movie that didn't resonate with people. Sorry.
Yeah, just taking a little personal responsibility. I mean, he was the leader. He was the head artist in charge of the thing. So it's nice to see, nice to hear that there are still like responsible creators out there who can recognize when something is a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I mean,
I also didn't see it. I had no interest in it. I haven't seen an X-Men movie in a while. That universe really hasn't ever really brought me in, but the trailers to this one didn't like make me go, oh, now this is one I want to see. Right.
And the movie was also hamstrung by the fact that in the interim of the movie being made and released, Disney bought Fox.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And Disney decided that the Phoenix powers looked a little too closely like Captain Marvel powers. Mm-hmm. And so they altered the Phoenix Force and made it more cosmic. Oh. And that was, for fans of Jean Grey and her story and the Phoenix they weren't excited by it.
Isn't that funny? Wouldn't you think it would go the opposite way?
You would think so.
That the Phoenix would get the more fire powers and Captain Marvel would get more of the cosmic powers. Yeah, if they're gonna tweak stuff.
Yeah, I think, and that's fair for Disney. I think, they had two female-driven narratives with similar powers. I mean, I can't fault Disney for saying like, hey, make this tweak. Mm-hmm. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it. Mm-hmm. But it seems to have hurt Dark Phoenix, just in terms of fans who wanted to see that story play out on screen. You had talked about maybe doing Fast and Furious, watching the first one, watching the last one, and then explaining to me everything that happened in between.
Yeah.
I think that might be fun to do with the X-Men franchise. Watch the first one, watch the last one, and then I explain everything that happened in between to you.
I did enjoy the first one. Way X-Men? Back in the day. Yeah.
And did you see Days of Future Past?
No.
Did you see Logan?
See that one. Oh, yeah, I saw Logan. Loved Logan.
Okay, yeah. So
Logan was flipping great.
And Logan is the end of this universe, even though Dark Phoenix is the last movie. So
chronologically, it's last.
So you've seen the first, you've seen the last. Maybe we'll watch this, and I can explain everything else that happened in between.
Well, I'll tell you this. I still don't have an interest in this movie, but I respect it a whole lot more hearing what the director said.
Sure.
So I'm willing to watch it because of that.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Sketch, anything that you saw happen this week in the multiverse that you want to talk about?
I have been seeing promos for History Channel's Car Week that starts July 7th. Do you know what they're doing this year?
I do not.
The Hoff and Kit are back together, and they're going to be racing other, iconic vehicles from the 80s.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Just so I'm clear.
Mm-hmm.
David Hasselhoff is going to be driving a Kit replica.
How it looks on the previews, yeah.
Is William Daniels voicing Kit?
Well, he says something in the promo.
Oh now, my God.
I don't know if
I need a cable subscription right now.
You might be able to watch it online.
Oh my God.
If it's one of those things.
So like Kit's going to race the A-Team van or
that was one of them.
The Mystery Machine or the Ecto-1 or the Batmobile or something like that?
The ones I know that I saw in the promo were the A-Team van and the, Chips with the motorcycles?
Oh yeah, Chips.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
what about Street Hawk? Is he going to race Street Hawk?
It was a very quick clip.
That's amazing. Quick. Oh, sign me up for that, Sketch.
Yeah, so
that'd be a fun Patreon episode.
We'll have to check that out when that comes out.
What do you think? That'd be a pretty fun Patreon episode.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I'm just excited to see the Hoff again. He's leaning into it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean he's still touring with the car.
Yeah.
I recently saw Ted 2 on television.
Is that the teddy bear?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's a scene where he walks into a panel with Kit and David Hasselhoff, and it's just Seth MacFarlane also voicing Kit.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, so that was kind of a letdown, but the scene was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
I'll have to YouTube that.
It's you can find the clip on YouTube. Yeah. I would say that's probably the best part of the movie. So just watch the clip.
But other than that, I think it's been a pretty light geeking out week.
Well, I'll just say I've been bouncing a lot of audio this week, so I've been catching up on stuff. I watched Jessica Jones season 3, and I will say, it kind of goes out on a whimper. It seems like their budget was really reduced.
Yeah.
From where the season started out and where it ended up. And that was disappointing. But it was fun. It was some closure because this is a show that was canceled during production.
Yeah.
So they had a chance to at least address some things and give closure. There are some fun cameos. And it's kind of sad to think of the universe that could have been and what was. And
yeah, I think that's why it kind of fell off my radar, was because the whole universe has been canceled. And in the back of my mind, I knew Jessica Jones was getting a season 3, but I honestly didn't even know it came out.
It literally just appeared in front of me while I was bouncing some audio. I had my Netflix open, and it was the advertisement that they were running on the screen. So I did get into it. It was.
I'll certainly watch it. I need to see the end of it.
It was a more gripping season, I think, than season 2.
Okay.
For me, I really didn't enjoy the narrative of the story in season 2. I just found there were just too many moving parts, and this was a much more straightforward, more human story.
Okay.
Even though there are significantly more emphasis placed on powered people and powers.
Interesting.
So it was quick. It came out on Friday, I think, and I watched it. I finished it on Monday.
Wow.
So it was it didn't drag on for me. And it was fun, but it was sad. But,
well, I'll definitely check it out because I just finished Good Omens, and so I'm ready for something
and that was
else
the
to
other
watch.
thing I watched, and wow. You texted me when you finished it and said great Omens, and man, I will second that and just say I can't wait for us to really dig into that subject matter.
Are we going to give it a full episode?
I think we have to.
All right, let's give it a full episode.
I think it deserves a full episode. I'm going to try and read the book.
Guys, watch Good Omens on
Please,
Amazon Prime, because we'll be talking about it very soon.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's just so fun. All of the different moving parts, all of the different characters, all of the performances are fantastic. I really enjoyed the Witchfinder army.
I enjoyed the whole flipping thing from start to finish.
Yeah. Crowley and Aziraphale, David Tennant and Michael Sheen. I love them both.
They're perfect. They're perfect in it.
They were so great. I love their story.
And it's short. It's just 6 episodes.
6 episodes, and I love that. I won't spoil anything.
Yeah,
but
no
I just
spoilers,
love that
no
it's 6
spoilers.
episodes.
Yeah,
and
easily digestible.
Yeah, just really, really great. Elise and I killed that in like a week. We watched an episode a night, or 2 episodes a night sometimes. And it was fun. It's quick. It's satisfying. There's a lot of rewatchability.
Yeah, I am interested to watch it again, actually.
I just love the message for like religion and politics, and like don't let your like best or worst belief, quality, feature define you. That for those of you that don't know, Good Omens, it's a book written by Neil Gaiman, and it's actually a co-authored work. Blanking on the other author.
Embarrassing.
Yes, it is.
I don't know books. I originally didn't know it was a book.
Readings for chumps. Good Omens, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter is the actual title of the books. It's Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett.
There you go.
There it is. Thank you. And yeah, it's fantastic. Just that at the crux of this story is that you've got an angel and a demon, and they're best friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's just fun.
And we'll get into it.
We will
on a full episode.
Yeah,
that'll be a fun art to make.
Sketch, anything else you want to talk about before we get into this listener feedback?
No, I think we should unpack it.
Okay, so guys, we say this all the time, guys, gals, longtime listeners. This is a conversation that we're having here, way back in our intro episode, almost 2 years ago. Yeah, almost 2 years ago, Sketch.
I think it has been 2 years.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. 2017, July 2017.
Oh, it was July. Okay.
It was July, yeah.
Very close. Very close
to our, yeah.
Can't believe it.
I know, right?
Yikes.
You've had to deal with me for 2 whole years.
Only on air. I've had to deal with you much longer than that.
But longtime listener Alex has written in about our Endgame episode and some of the things we said, particularly about Captain Marvel and the construction of the story, as well as something I said in the episode that I'd just like to quickly address right now.
Sure.
About longtime listener Alex writes in and says that I made the claim, that a bold claim, that none of the Avengers will be in a team up. None of the original Avengers will appear in a team up movie again. Mm-hmm. And just to clarify that point, the version 1 Avengers, let's call them, of Hulk, Iron Man, Steve Rogers, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow,
Thor.
Am I forgetting? And Thor will not appear in an Avengers team up movie together. again. Hawkeye is going to appear in a Disney Plus series. Falcon and Winter Soldier, or now Captain America and Winter Soldier, are going to appear in a Disney Plus series. Scarlet Witch and Vision have a series. Black Widow has a prequel movie coming out. Seems like Chris Hemsworth is chomping at the bit to stick around as Thor. He's really found a new affinity for that character since Thor Ragnarok. Is having a lot of fun with it again. So I would bet dollars to donuts that he will at least have a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think that's a safe bet. But they will not be appearing in the form that we have known them.
Right.
And that's what they're...
And I agreed with you, and I'm glad you're clearing that up, because you're not going to see those 6 as those 6 any longer.
Yeah, and
anything's game for seeing anybody anytime ever again. Of course.
Sure. Could they time travel again and Robert Downey Jr. is in a scene? Sure. Yeah, or Absolutely. Steve Rogers, Chris Cap.
Oh, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, thank you. I was going to say Chris Pine, and I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah, that's DC.
And also Star Trek. Might we see Steve Rogers, Captain America again? Sure. Might they appear on screen together? Sure. But just in terms of Avengers Assemble suiting up in the present timeline, I mean, the Russos have said that, and Kevin Feige has said that was their swan song. And that basically they can't afford them anymore. These actors want to do other things with their careers. And they just can't afford to pay them the money to continue to play those parts. They want to do other things,
which is fair.
Yep.
Which is fair.
And I will try and find. I'm pretty sure I posted that to the Facebook page, and I'll try and repost that or find the link to it and put it out there. But just to clarify on that point. But Sketch, Alex, further, I think, takes you to task specifically on some of the things that you said about Captain Marvel.
Okay.
And I think the first of these 3 points is that we made her out to seem particularly useless. Particularly that Alex's point is that she is the only way Tony and Nebula could have been saved. Who else could have done it?
Okay, sure. I mean, I'll hear that, but only because they wrote in that they needed to be saved. Like, I would have been totally fine if Tony and Nebula limped that ship home and it was just a race against time to see if their tech savviness could get them home. I don't know. It almost seemed like that whole sequence was made for the trailer so that you can get the whole Tony floating in space thing looking hopeless. But yeah, the way it was written, yes, Captain Marvel had to pick them up and bring them home. I guess I just wish it was written that Tony and Nebula figured it out on their own.
And I'll just say more esoterically, I haven't seen as a storytelling device something that only Captain Marvel can do. Something that, and so Thor could fly off into space, or like another and save them. Or another thing we said was around the Hulk, that Hulk could have stopped Thanos' snap instead of Captain Marvel. And I guess all I was getting at is that it would have been great to see
something that only she could bring to the table.
That only she could bring to the table. And just one of the things that we didn't talk about in our Endgame episode that I thought of later was, this is the first time Carol's been back to Earth, presumably. Maybe not. I'm sure we'll find out in Captain Marvel 2 that she's been back sooner. But what happened to Rambo and her surrogate daughter?
Well,
that whole story, like, were they snapped out of existence? Were they?
That was another thing I was thinking.
And that's just like a victim of the fact that Endgame was shot before Captain Marvel was filmed, so they didn't have those actors.
Right.
But that was a huge, how do we not address in that movie that there's this relationship did they survive? Did they not survive? And that's something that, again, I'll come back to with the Russos is and Marvel overall. We've been saying this with a lot of these movies, that the interconnectedness of these universes are not as seamless and interconnected as they used to be. And that for me was a glaring thing that there just didn't organically come up in the episode. That would have been far more compelling to me. Like, what's Carol's stake in all of this?
Well, the other
what's her
other
motivation?
thing that Alex brings up is that we had a hard time believing that Carol has this job of policing the galaxy and helping all these other worlds, right?
Yes.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Based on her movie, there was nothing that made me think, okay, now she's the guardian of this sector of the universe,
sure,
or whatever. But what her movie did deposit was, once she helps the Skrulls find their home, she's probably going to come back to see Rambo and her daughter and piece together her memory, or she's going to stay out in space and push back the Kree.
Right.
I didn't get that she's going to be the guardian of other worlds.
Exactly.
And
she's the thin line between the universe and the Kree. She's literally the only thing fighting them.
Right.
Or that can fight them.
And if that was the line, okay, I get it.
Hey guys, I'm the only thing standing between Earth and a full-on invasion by the Kree. Oh shit.
Boom.
Okay, yeah, go do that. Go do that.
And the fact that she says, I'm protecting these 1,000 other worlds, but Earth has you. Okay, but we've seen your movie, Captain Marvel. We've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, we know the thing that humans on Earth are garbage and worthless. Like, there are heroes in the universe. We've seen that established. She said that line, and it was like, well, Earth is in good hands because of you guys, but the universe has no one else. But we've seen so many other heroes and organizations and governments that can also do it. So for me, that point was just, again, like you said, it was written before her movie was finished. If it had just been tweaked to be, pushed, keeping the like you said, the thin line between a Kree invasion or something along those lines.
And that's where I'll say, like, that's something that could have been easily addressed in reshoots.
Yeah.
Just put her in the costume, put her on a green screen, have her deliver the line, and superimpose her over that scene where it was being delivered.
Yep.
Fixed.
Yep.
I mean, I kind of tongue-in-cheek said in the episode, classic Russos, and I'm going to stand on that. I don't think they're particularly good storytellers. They seem to be great at managing these epic, large cast events, and they certainly have a style. I'm not a fan of it. They don't strike me, my palette, for what I like in a story as good storytellers. And that's just an example of it. So for me, it's more of just the story falling down and the development of our character. Yeah. Our first episode was Wonder Woman. Give me a story like that for Carol. Give me a story where I see how inspirational she is, how only she can do this because of her character, her moral fortitude, her inner strength. Give me that story.
Hey, Shades.
Yes.
Hey, Shades.
Yes.
They did give you that story with Black Widow and Nebula.
Well, exactly. Yes. And I'm really glad that came out in our episode organically, because that's not something we talked about before going into it.
Right.
Yes. Black Widow and Nebula were the heroes of that movie, and why are we still not talking about that?
Yeah.
They were so much more impactful. So just in terms of a storytelling device, Alex, thank you so much for writing in. I hope we've addressed your questions, and please feel free to write back in if we haven't. And longtime listeners, write into the show if you have something that you think maybe we glossed over or we weren't fair to, and we will address that on air as we do. So hopefully,
I'll say one last thing about Captain Marvel.
Nope.
And
okay.
then move on.
Sure.
And Alex, I absolutely appreciate you writing in. I do have to stand by me thinking that she was not used appropriately in the movie. And here's how it felt to me. It felt like leaving The Force Awakens on Rey handing the lightsaber to Luke. That was Captain Marvel's movie. And then the way she was used in Endgame was Luke in Last Jedi tossing it over the shoulder. Like, oh, you think this was important? It's really not that important.
Oh, wow. It always comes back to Last Jedi sketch.
It always comes back to Last Jedi.
It does.
But that's what it was. She was billed as a,
she was billed as
the magic bullet that was going to do this.
That was going to deal with Thanos.
And
spoilers.
Did she help? Yes.
Absolutely.
She helped. Did she help in a way that no one else could have? That's where I go, I don't think she was written that well. That it was unmistakable that you needed Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. And I'll just, flip this with only Tony Stark could have gotten the stones away from Thanos in the way that he did.
Yeah.
No one was strong enough to pry the glove off of his hand. No one was strong enough to pull, to hold the stones and master them, even though I have way more questions. How do we not talk about this? How the fuck did Hawkeye just run through
runs a gauntlet.
Literally,
he runs a gauntlet with the gauntlet.
With the gauntlet under his arm. Star-Lord could barely hold the Power Stone. How is he just holding onto the glove and not incinerated instantly? I don't know. Classic Russos. But yeah. I will just end my little piece here with I wanted something that only Captain Marvel could have done. Only Carol could have done because she's Carol Danvers.
Yep.
It felt like that was missing to me.
I agree.
So just thanks again for writing in, Alex, and thanks for being a long-time listener.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the back and forth.
I do too.
I like the back and forth.
And I love the longtime listener John sent in a meme for our Mario Brothers episode with Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard from Castlevania that said squad goals in response to the Mario Brothers of Mario, Peach, and Luigi. And I can't agree more. That dynamic was certainly lacking from Mario. So thanks for sending in that meme.
Thanks, longtime listeners.
Yeah.
We literally couldn't do it without you.
We could not. We would just be sitting in a room talking to ourselves.
Like we have been for years.
Yeah. Sketch, where are we going next week?
Guys, next week, we are finally talking about a property that we've never talked about before ever on Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
Is this our third episode, Sketch?
This is our...
It is.
Yes, third episode.
This will be the third episode.
Teen Titans.
Go!
This time we are talking specifically the DC streaming services Titans series.
Yes. Fuck Batman.
That's the one.
That's the one. That should just be the name of the series, Sketch.
The flagship show of the DC streaming universe.
Season 2 in the can, about to drop.
Yep. Currently, I guess that's really the only place you can watch it at this time. But we will be diving into that next week, geeking out over all things Titans as we are prone to do.
Yeah. So tune in next week.
Fuck Batman.
Yeah. Can't get into that.
We should probably say right now there will be strong language.
Yes.
But no
Spoilers.
space titties.
No. Oh boy.
Yeah. So if you are interested in keeping up with our topics, then watch yourself the Titans. That's just it. It's just called Titans.
Titans.
The series on DC streaming.
Yes.
If you like that kind of world, and if you like the Marvel Netflix rip, universe, you won't be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed by this series. And I would say all of the series, I very much enjoyed Doom Patrol and want some more Doom Patrol, and really saddened with Swamp Thing. I guess Swamp Thing was the third live action series to premiere and canceled very briefly after 7 episodes.
I need to start watching more on the DC streaming. I want to watch Young Justice next.
Young Justice is fantastic.
But I'm also looking forward to the animated Harley Quinn show coming out. So, but guys, we will talk about Titans next week and all things DC streaming and all that good stuff. Another week about Dick, Shades. It always comes back to Dick
Grayson.
Yep, you know it.
Yes. Hey, thanks for podding with me, Sketch.
Of course, as always. And thanks again, longtime listeners, because you gave us some good talking points this time.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hearing more.
Fire up the engines and
we can't get
make
to
our
Titans
way
fast
to.
enough.
We cannot.
We should honestly, at this point, just do a yearly Titans episode. It's like,
sure, let's do it.
What's going on with the Titans? What's going on in the Big T this year?
Well, next year we're going to get Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go. It's happening.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They found their way back
for a hot second.
Yeah.
All right. Next time, Titans.
See you next time.
Fuck Batman.
It's a great note to go out on.
Perfect. See ya.